All right, good evening and welcome to the third annual Alabaster City Schools Homecoming Parade. I'm Bryant Horn.
I'm Noah Peavy.
And we'll be streaming live on thslive.com, and we'll be following tonight's action with the parade, and then after the parade we'll be covering the homecoming pep rally at Larry Simmons Stadium. And the first float of the night is the JROTC of Thompson High School, and they will be marching in the front.
Say it's not much of a float, it's more them just marching in front of everyone.
Kind of leading the way. And then right behind them is the Marching Southern Sounds, the band for the high school. And you know, the band they've won multiple awards, and they're going to be performing tonight at the pep rally.
We've seen their show at the football games, and it's really good. So,
right, and I mean this year their halftime show is Woodstock.
They have, I think they have a couple of Jimi Hendrix and a couple of songs from the Who in it, so it should be good.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, and right behind the people holding the banner is the Majorettes, and the dance team, and the color guard, and the band is just starting off the parade. They're going to be giving music to the rest of the parade goers and kind of leading the way.
Really starting off the parade in a good fashion, instead of just having just the float start. It brings in the band and kind of gets people amped up for the parade. Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, I just think it's just so cool being able to see like the whole entire Thompson High School visual ensemble to start off the parade. I think they're very important parts of the whole football season. I mean, whenever I think of importance as football team and then a football season, football team, the band. I mean, band is one of the major aspects of football season.
It really keeps the fans excited, even if say it's our team's losing. It keeps them like cheered up. It keeps them excited despite no matter what's happening in the game.
And and just by watching the band, you're just able to see just how big they are. Whenever you look at the Thompson High School student body, I definitely see a good third of them is involved in the visual ensemble. I mean, it seems like almost every single kid is involved in the band. Thompson is one of the biggest bands in our area, which is partly one of the reasons that they're able to win the awards that they do.
And they're very good at saying they go to the competitions. They do.
And what just passed us was the Grand Marshal of the parade, which this year is Larry Simmons, one of the very famous Thompson High School football coaches. He was actually the coach of the football team whenever they won their only state title in 1982.
It was 83.
It was 82. And it's very cool to see that he's Grand Marshal this year. I think he's an important figure in the city of Alabaster, and just
especially with how the football team this year is really turning around and doing a whole lot better than they've done in the past, in a while. So.
And right after the Grand Marshal is going to be Dr. Vickers, the superintendent of Alabaster City Schools, and Marty Hanlon, who is Alabaster's mayor.
Really cool to see them here showing support to Thompson High School, especially the mayor. So it's not just people from the school; it's major people in our city getting involved.
Right. And the next float that's coming up is it looks to be just a float of I think it looks like Alabaster City School employees might be. It is. They're throwing out beads and throwing out candy.
Try to keep the little kids. You see, there's a lot of kids out there with their parents.
It's in fact the central office of the Alabaster City Schools. You know, all the higher ups and the school system and it's great to see them playing such an impactful role. I mean, they're one of the first floats, and I definitely say that they're one of the most important parts of the school system.
Especially with them being with the extended central office, they really help the school run on a day-to-day basis.
Right. Definitely. I mean, and they're on a humongous float. I mean, that's like a 16, 18 wheeler. Like it's humongous.
It's a flatbed for an 18-wheeler tow truck. It's a whole lot of people on there.
And we're about to go down to Brady Talbert, who is on one of our floats.
I'm on the Creekview Elementary School bus right now. The theme is Live Your Legacy. As you can know what's going on, little kids are dressed up, have different careers that they wish to pursue, and then we have the big guys, which are all dressed up to also match that career. Now I'm here with Allie. Allie, are you having fun? Allie is our broadcast journalist. She's here to match me. Are you going to become a broadcast journalist? You want to be on TV? Well, hopefully you will someday. That's all for right now, but I will get back to you with updates.
All right, and thank you for that, Brady. I think that's a very cool thing that you're able to be down there on one of the floats and you're able to kind of talk us through what's going on. I think that's a very cool thing what the Creekview float's doing, and
get some of the little kids excited. And
getting the little kids excited about what they want to be when they grow up.
They've been doing that they've done their own little kind of broadcast show a couple of times this year, and cool to see them get involved with our stuff at the high school.
Right, and now coming up on the float, we just missed the first grade football and cheer, but now we're on the second grade cheer, and it's a very important aspect of Thompson football and Thompson cheers to have kids start young. I mean, these second grade cheerleaders are going to be, one day they're going to be Thompson varsity cheerleaders, and I just think that's really cool that they're building the cheerleading program from beginnings of grade school.
Especially with how the football team's sitting around, you probably see more of those younger kids get involved with the youth programs and be more excited and start having bigger teams for the high school.
Yeah, and we just passed the second grade football team, and throughout tonight we're going to be progressively getting older and older from first grade, second grade, until eventually we get to the Thompson High School varsity football team
and all the varsity teams around the school. Will be cool to see. Just we've seen some pretty cool floats. We'll see the class floats.
Oh yeah, definitely. The class floats are a lot of fun.
And they'll have the awards at the end.
Now we have the 90-pound football team cheers, the cheerleaders, and these are the cheerleaders for the 90-pound football team, which is Thompson youth football, and usually this is like third grade. Like this is like the smallest weight class of football teams, and right after the 90-pound cheer is fourth grade football.
Really, you start seeing them getting involved with the school teams. They're a little more competitive, and then as you're saying, it builds up to the high school and gets them better prepared to play in middle school and then high school from there.
And right behind them is the fifth grade cheerleaders. Like we said, we're working our way up, and right now we're in the intermediate school, and we'll get to the middle school and then to the high school.
I know the middle school had a lot of success last year in football. They went to the Metro Finals, I think, and lost a pretty close game on that one as the 8th graders, which are now the freshmen. So.
Oh, yeah, and I just think that's awesome, being able to see all these programs. Right now we're looking at the 6th grade cheerleaders. We're able to see all these programs, have success at lower levels, and then that way we can build a
take the success from all these younger programs,
build a tradition of success,
and then bring it onto the high school and become a stronger program. And as it's already happening this year with Coach Mark Freeman coming in and redoing the team.
And right now we're taking a little break from our football team, and we're going to be seeing the Shelby Starlets, who are a baton club in Alabaster, and they have a very big presence in the city of Alabaster. A lot of girls are a part of it.
It's cool to see the not just the schools and the faculty, but local places and student activities around Thompson, not necessarily associated with the school, get involved and be part of the parade.
Yeah, definitely.
Sport grown for it every year. As you said, it's the 3rd year they've had it.
And now this is a big group. As you can see, I mean, they are obviously going, they're going from oldest kids to youngest kids, and you can just see how big this program is with the Shelby Starlets. I mean, they're training these kids young to, do baton, and eventually they can work their way up to majorette and beyond, but visual ensemble in high school. And I just think that this is an exciting thing for all these young kids to be able to be part of this parade and feel important, because they really are important.
Because it, like you're saying, everything builds upon itself, and you see a lot of the visual ensemble people, like the dance team and the color guard, have all been part of these programs growing up until they're part of it in high school. A lot of them will go on to do it in college too.
And coming up, we have the Walmart Neighborhood Pharmacy, and I believe this Walmart Neighborhood Pharmacy is part of the new Walmart. Actually, it is the right now is Miss Hart of Alabaster. It's a a pageant that goes on in Alabaster every year, and I mean, she's up on a high prestige. And next is Alvis for Judge, which is a campaign. It's a campaign float.
You see the local politicians getting involved to bring in more attention, more support to it every year.
Right. I always think that that's a fun thing, is to see
all the different floats and all the different people that are able to get into it.
Oh yeah, and right behind them is the Alabaster CNP van. It's the van for all the great people that work in the in the food and nutrition parts of the school, serving lunch and everything, and all that they do for us. And now is the second part of the CNP for Alabaster. It's the child nutrition program, and it makes you thankful for everything that they've been doing for our schools, and
make sure everyone's fed, has a chance.
With a new chef that Alabaster State Schools actually got, that he's revamping.
He really has. It's a
lot
better
the menu,
than it's been in the past couple of years.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we're taking a little bit of a break from. We're taking a little break from the. There's a little gap in the parade right now, so we're just kind of following one of the. During this gap, we're just going to talk about. I mean, this is the third annual homecoming parade. 2 years ago, they started this tradition, and I think it's just so awesome to be able to see Alabaster take a tradition that used to be something very big a long time ago. Now we're turning it into something new. And right now we are looking at the bus drivers of Creekview Elementary School on their float, which is a bus, of course.
It's cool to see them, all the different faculties of all the different schools become involved. With the bus drivers, they get a lot of the kids to school and in middle school and high school, and in Creekview and all the younger schools.
And right now we are looking at the Creekview Elementary School float. And, I think it's so cool that both the classes in the high school, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior, and each one of the schools are able to build these floats, showcasing to the community about, every single level of schooling in Alabaster. And we're about to go over to Brady Talbert, who, of course, is on the Creekview float.
We're back on the float. We're actually inside at the stadium. Allie, is there anything you want to say?
Everybody's loving seeing all the
It's fun seeing all the students that came out here today to support the parade and to have fun and getting their candy. A lot of candy has been thrown. So now that we're done recording,
All right, thank you for that, Brady. I think that's very cool that you're able to be there with the kids on the Creekview Elementary School floats. And
as he was saying, they're in view of the stadium as the band is starting to make their way around into the stadium, and the ROTC have probably already made their way in.
Right, and they're going to file in, and they'll get ready for the pep rally, which is going to be following immediately after this parade ends. And coming up in the parade is going to be Meadowview Elementary School. The second part of the second part to the 2 elementary schools that we have in the Alabaster City schools.
It's not only the like you're saying, the high school and the middle school, they get to show their schools
every
pride
single school, which I think is super cool.
Or even just their grade pride. It's they get the younger kids involved, where it's not just, oh, this is only a high school thing. This is for families and community and the younger kids of Alabaster.
And and for these kids that are in kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, I mean, this is going to be a tradition that they're going to live through, because I mean, they're growing up, going to school whenever all this is just now starting. I mean, us.
Some of us, it started my freshman year.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be, we didn't get to experience that as a younger person, but now these kids are going to be able to grow up through it, and they'll be in it every single year.
Actual tradition, not instead of just being oh, it's the 3rd annual, it'll be the 10th annual, or by the time they're ready to graduate.
All right, and upcoming is the Thompson 6th grade center float. It seems that we may have missed the Thompson Intermediate School float, but I just think that the Thompson 6th grade center is just such an interesting thing, because not a lot of schools have it. I mean,
where it's just a single grade by themselves.
The class of 2016, they're seniors now. They were the first class of Thompson 6th grade. I mean, I remember whenever they were just talking about how the middle school was a little bit crowded and they wanted to move the 6th graders out.
So many buses at the middle school.
Right. And right now we are looking at the Thompson Middle School dance team. They, once again, they're able to showcase themselves and show what they have before they go off to high school, and they can eventually become part of the Thompson High School dance team.
I think this is the TMS Warriorettes we're seeing. I think this is the first year the middle schools had the Warriorettes as a program.
Right. And I just think that that's so cool. I mean, you can see that all these teachers and all these sponsors of these teams are working super hard. Thompson High School is getting a lot of new programs. Thompson Middle School is getting a lot of new programs.
The new high school, the new football coach.
They're making lots of improvements in Alabaster City schools, and I just think that that's so cool.
It's really cool to be part of all the changes that are happening around the school.
Right, definitely. And, up here, upcoming, we have the, it looks to be, it's a legacy float that's,
probably just a group of alumni that got together to be part of this.
Right, and it looks like they are their float obviously has the Alabaster City Schools logo, and it's talking about the legacy of Alabaster City Schools, which is sure to become a great legacy within the next few years with all these advances that we're making. And we are now looking at the Thompson Middle School homecoming court. I just think it's so cool that the middle school is able to do a homecoming court as well as the high school.
Especially, now they can have them in the parade instead of just, because for years before it's just, okay, you're on the homecoming court, nothing really. You walk out on the field, but now they're in the parade. They get that recognition of being part of that.
Right, definitely. And we're just going through. I mean, I'm amazed at the amount of floats that this parade has.
There's more and more every year. More people involved, and it becomes a bigger and bigger thing.
Right. And upcoming right now is the Thompson High School volleyball. No, it's actually Thompson Middle School volleyball. Well, all I know is that it is the volleyball team, and I'm loving the traditions that have been started by the volleyball teams in Thompson. I mean, both middle school and high school, they're always good. They're always making it to Metro for middle school and state for high school. They're always making it to the playoffs, and
always a very solid and strong team for the school.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, along with wrestling, volleyball, and sometimes basketball and baseball, those are the sports that people look up to, and they know that Thompson High School is going to do well in it.
Especially with football, looking to join those ranks, it's a really strong, fundamentally strong, and every year powerful teams with the new coach, and doing a lot better than the past couple of years.
All right, and right now we just got passed by a Thompson Middle School cheer. Just able to look at, and we're coming up on Thompson Middle School football, which as we were talking about, is just a great tradition because they're able to bring these middle schoolers up, and they're able to run the same offense that the high school's running and the same defense, and they're able to become masters at by Thompson varsity football.
As they're getting to now practice alongside the varsity
Right.
With the being able to use those extra playing fields around our practice field by our high school. And like we were saying last year, the 8th grade program was very strong going to the Metro Finals. And losing a tough game, though.
Right, and those players that are, now freshmen, they're going to be able to, as we were saying,
grow farther and stronger as a team and closer over the next 4 years of high school.
Right, definitely. And I think that that's so important because, that's what you see a lot of successful high school football programs doing around here. Hoover, Pelham, Spain Park. I mean, they're running the same offense, same defense, all the years from the youth football all the way to the high school football. And I think that that's so important because by the time that they became varsity, they're able to run plays super well. They know what they're doing. They know their teammates really well.
Instead of like having it change on them every year, it's, okay, we ran this last year, now let's put it into action again and have the same success with it.
Right, definitely. And it looks like we're coming up on one of the 2 Thompson Middle School football teams. This looks to be maybe the 7th grade, I believe. And, I think 7th grade football is a very important year for them because, it's the first year that they're actually playing for the school and they're not just playing youth football.
And there's a competition level change you'll see coming from, like, youth programs in any sport into a school sport where you have the kids that are really serious about it and really want to do it for the rest of their career in middle school and high school and maybe beyond that into the collegiate level.
Right, definitely. And it looks to be that we are looking at the Thompson High School 9th grade float. Now, their theme for this week was Fright Night, Freshman Fright Night. And, they're starting off strong by having a scary float to go along with their theme. And now we are looking at the Thompson High School 10th grade float, whose theme was Safari Sophomores.
You see, because we saw them at school today all wearing the different animals or the safari gear, and you see it with the safari guide and the different animals following behind the float.
Right. And now after this, of course, is the Thompson High School junior float. Now their theme is the circus or circus juniors, And
it was just the circus, and you see a lot of them. They were dressed up as clowns, or a couple of people were dressed up as lions, and so pretty cool to see all the different costume ideas.
Right. And I think that that's just such a strong tradition. It's having these different themes for each of the classes. It's always a great competition to go to school on Wednesday of homecoming week and see how many people are dressed for each class. Right.
Dress up day competition.
And, of course, what we are now looking at is the Thompson High School senior float. Their theme was Toy Story.
This is an awesome float. There's got a whole lot on it. They usually do have one of the better floats in the parade. And
following in suit, of course, is, all these different characters from Toy Story. I can see an Etch-a-Sketch, Buzz Lightyear, Mr. Potato Head, Woody. I mean, I just think that the seniors
they got very creative this year with their costume and their class.
The juniors, I like their class. They had a great theme, but Toy Story is just so easy to do stuff with.
So many different characters and so many different ways to take it.
There were people dressed not even as real actual characters. There were some people dressed as Sid the bully, as the pizza guy from Pizza Planet. There's an Emperor Zorg. I saw.
That's pretty creative. You see, it's like not just the core characters of it, but they took all aspects of their theme and used it.
And right behind the seniors is Thompson High School Theater, and they're showing off their new play, James and the Giant Peach. And right behind them is the Warehouse 31 crew.
You see that? Expect this to be really creative, but they have all like different costumes. Actually, saw a couple of kids in the 11th grade that worked there wearing their clown costumes from Warehouse 31, so that was pretty funny to see. Kind of branching off from just like instead of just the happy kind of circusing, you had some of the costumes from Warehouse 31.
Right, and right after Warehouse 31 is Thompson High School First Priority. They're a big, they're a big force. They put on See You at the Pole. They do a bunch of fundraisers for the school, and they're an important.
They have a pretty big presence on the high school campus,
right?
Involving the students, and it's really a student-led program,
right? And it looks like they're taking a little bit of a break from actual floats, and they're driving some of the car floats around. From the looks of it, might be homecoming court. All I know is that there are lots of really nice cars. There are trucks and Jeeps, and I think I saw a Camaro. Yeah.
Looks like I think most of these cars are student-owned cars, as you'll see. A lot of kids at Thompson, especially groups of the seniors, have the nice trucks where they've souped them up.
And by the looks of it, it looks like we're starting to get into the homecoming court. And, of course, right behind them, we're actually going to see the freshman cheerleaders. Yeah, we just went through the whole entire homecoming court. Now we're looking at the freshman cheerleaders. And after them is, of course, the junior varsity cheerleaders.
You see all the cheerleaders together. It's a very large group since they have all 3 squads that are very large.
And after them is the varsity cheerleading squad. I mean, the Thompson varsity squad is just, they're humongous. I mean, there are so many kids. And then one of the final floats, if not the last, is going to be the Thompson High School. Oh, actually, right now we are in what looks like is like the freshman football team. Right.
Starting to see the varsity teams from Thompson show up. We saw the middle school volleyball players earlier. Now we're saying the high school, the freshman volleyball team. So.
Yeah, we've worked our way up all the way from elementary school with Creekview and Meadowview, and now we're starting to look at, we've moved all the way up to the freshman football team, and unfortunately we're almost done.
And right after this, like we were saying earlier, comes the parade, pep rally.
Right.
Community.
I always love the pep rally. I mean, it's so exciting for, the school to be able to showcase all the awesome things that happen during an actual school pep rally, but like parents are able to experience it, alumni are able to come back and watch it.
You have one of our largest student sections in this home setting, because you get a lot of people that usually wouldn't go to the football games. They'll come here and watch the parade, and they'll join the student section. So
right.
It's really cool to see all the student participation.
Definitely. And it looks like we are still in the freshman football team right now. This is, I think this football team is actually freshman, JV, and varsity all combined into one.
Instead of just having their own individual float, because that'd
right.
be
I love that idea, because
as a team, not as separate groups as we've seen in the past. It's unified into like one solid team.
Right. And, I think Coach Freeman has just done an awesome job of bringing the Thompson High School football program together. I mean, he has, of course, made the team one whole thing. I've seen freshmen practicing with the varsity. That was something we didn't do a few years ago.
Because there's a separation, there's a major separation between varsity team and the, say, JV and even freshman team in the past couple years, where Coach Freeman, like you're saying, came in and it's like, no, we're not having that. We are a team. Right. We'll win together, we lose together as a whole, not as individuals.
That's just so cool to see, because I can think of other programs, specifically Hoover. I know other schools do this, where they have a freshman team, a junior varsity team, and a senior team, or a varsity team, because of how many people are wanting to play football. And with Thompson, I think it's cool because some of these freshmen are being moved up to JV and varsity.
Yes, they have. There's a lot of sophomores on varsity, as they've been playing so long. Jalen Ram has been a major key player in a lot of games, and very good for the varsity team this year, as we see they have the younger guys with the skill, where Freeman's given them that play time to continue to build their skill and their abilities as a player, instead of just playing, oh, you're a senior, you're going to play. Well, it's who can play the best at this position to get us this victory.
Right, definitely. And, as we can see, I think one of the greatest things about Thompson football is that all these players that play on varsity are also able to play on JV. They're able to, interlock, and they're able to, get to know each other really well. And the JV is becoming a cohesive unit with the varsity. And that way, as the JV gets older and they become varsity, and as the freshmen come up and become JV, everyone is a family.
Once the senior leaves, there is no real separation. Oh, he could do this, but this person can do it. They've been playing together, so he knows what he has to do to fill this role seamlessly. Right,
and we are actually kind of coming to a little bit of a close to this pep rally. behind the football team, you can see, the trainers. And, after this football team, you're going to see a fire truck kind of closing everything out. And, even though this parade is coming to a close, once we finish with the parade, we are going to keep streaming, and we're going to show you the Alabaster City Schools pep rally. I'm sure the band will perform, the drum line will probably perform, the dance team.
The principal usually, or the superintendent will usually go out there and say a couple of things.
I'm sure the Grand Marshal, who's, of course, is Coach Larry Simmons, I'm sure he'll speak. And we are now, and this is going to be the conclusion of our parade. And if you want to stick in and watch the Alabaster Pep Rally, then we will be streaming it. For THS TV, I'm Bryant Horn.
And I'm Noah Peavy.
Thanks for watching.